And what's going on, Read My Lips people? We are back. So I've been getting a lot of emails, a lot of messages about the rise of Tulsi Gabbard. And a lot of people were concerned. They were saying, man, this could negatively impact Andrew Yang. Tulsi Gabbard is moving on up. And it's true, she's moving up. And there is one thing she's moving up in that you might want to be a little concerned about. But I think overall, Andrew's going to be fine. And it's actually something I talked about not that long ago that I felt Yang should talk about more. His Republican appeal. Tulsi Gabbard does exceptionally well with flipping Trump voters. Kyle Kalinske from Secular Talk actually does a pretty good job breaking it down. So we're going to watch a clip and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about it.
Poll about the Democratic primary and take a look at the results. This is who's getting more of the 2016 Trump voters. Who's getting more of those voters? Well, would you look at that? Tulsi Gabbard, 21%, number 1. Bernie, 15%, number 2. Yang, 13%, number 3. And then we get a big drop-off, and we get Steyer, 7%, Biden 6, Castro 6, Bennett 6. I can't believe Bennett has 6. Delaney 4. That's got to all be in Bennett's state. Delaney 4. What? Warren 3. Delaney is beating Warren. Goodness gracious. Buttigieg 3, Klobuchar 3, Bullock 2, Messam 2. I don't know how Bullock got 2. I don't know how Messam got 2. I wouldn't be surprised to see this reflected in more polls moving forward if they keep asking this question because, and Crystal Ball pointed this out on Twitter of Rising, she's like, well, these are the 3 candidates who have the strongest claim of being anti-establishment in the Democratic Party, and they're winning, and this busts up the narrative of, oh, what you need is, former Trump voters. To get them, you have to move to the right, and you have to be more conservative. And, you have to kowtow to them and abandon your own values and policy preferences. And that's just not true. In fact, what I've said for a long time now is, it's the populism, stupid. Strong populism holds the Democratic base, because they're incredibly populist, holds the actual lefties, okay? Gets independents, gets new voters, and chips away at the Republicans or former Republicans or Trump voters. Tulsi, for example, very interesting character. I have disagreements with her on, like, her healthcare bill, for example, but she is out there nonstop arguing against war. You cannot say that she's not sincere in wanting to end the Iraq war, wanting to end the Afghanistan war. You can't say that, her main issue isn't, as she says, quote, ending regime change war. So, wow, would you look at that? Ending war turns out to be very popular among former Trump voters who realize he's a charlatan and a con man and a fraud. And so, that's why she's leading among them. Bernie, another guy who pushing for Medicare for all. There's one poll that shows 52% of Republican voters support Medicare for all. So that makes sense why Bernie's pretty high up there in terms of getting former Trump voters. The other thing is they look at somebody like Bernie, and when Bernie talks about how the whole system's corrupt, I don't take their big money, I only raise money from the people. We're doing a movement here. It's not me, it's us. These former Trump voters look at that and they go, okay, so this guy's the real deal. Trump ended up being a fake populist. This guy's the real deal. It's working. Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang has done such a fantastic job on this particular issue of talking former Trump voters off the ledge when it comes to immigration. Because Andrew says, hey, listen, don't be mad at, your neighbor who might have brown skin or black skin. You have to understand that the problem that's impacting your life in a negative way is not immigration. You have more in common with your immigrant brother than you don't. It's automation. So, your jobs are going. Now, there's a debate as to how much of it is outsourcing versus immigration, I think, or versus automation. Both of them are massively important, and both of them have negatively hurt the economy, outsourcing and automation. So I think it's both of those things, but his argument is, listen, don't blame people who you have a lot in common with, who are struggling to get by just like you, blame basically the machines. I sound like Bill O'Reilly. He used to say that on his show. The machines are coming. But blame the fact that a lot of these jobs are going away permanently because we're moving towards automated systems. And for some reason, that's been a light bulb moment for a lot of former Trump voters where they go, you know what? That's a good point that, hey, now I go to the store and I see the automatic checkout and I see half the staff is laid off at the Walmart or whatever it might be. And they go, wow, maybe that is the problem. And it allows them to have a lot more class consciousness than they did before. And the oldest trick in the book is the elites, the ruling class, gets working class people, working class white people to blame working class black and brown people for their problems. It's divide and conquer. Hey, look over there. Isn't it the immigrants' problem? The immigrants got no money, no power, and they're struggling to get by. But isn't it the immigrants' fault that you're hurting right now and you're not doing too well? Actually, no, it's not. It's that the rules are rigged in favor of the corporations and rigged in favor of the billionaires and the rich. And you're taking all the money and running out the back door, and everybody else is struggling. So, but it's great that he was able to come in there and say, no, don't blame them, blame automation. So that was a light bulb moment for a lot of former Trump voters. And as long as they feel like somebody's actually fighting for them, they're willing to vote for them. So Andrew Yang, he's a Democrat, but he's leading on, I believe in UBI, Universal Basic Income. And a lot of former Trump voters go, oh, well, I think $1,000 a month will help me massively. Now, again, we can get into details and specifics, and I could say, hey, I don't agree with exactly how he constructed his UBI, and that's all an open and fair conversation. But what I think is not debatable is that what he's doing is converting former Republicans, which is a wonderful thing.
So yeah, she is absolutely smashing, flipping Trump voters more than even Bernie and more than Andrew Yang. But fear not. I don't think that's the end-all be-all. As a matter of fact, and I like Tulsi, but I think this spark she got is going to be rather short-lived. And clearly, it's because Hillary Clinton went after her. So you had big bad Hillary Clinton going after the underdog Tulsi Gabbard. It gave her a spark. And if you really think about it, Tulsi's always had some sort of controversy around her. Whether it was Kamala Harris, whether it was cutting a swath through everybody, calling her an Assad apologist. Whatever it might be, Tulsi's always been in the headlines. Hell, she was the most Googled candidate for quite a long time. So, back to the question. Is Tulsi Gabbard's rise a concern for Andrew Yang? And I say the nay. I don't think it's sustainable. I think it'll level out. Sort of like the Kamala Harris spark we had not that long ago. Again, whenever there's some big controversy, the candidate seems to go up and then they level back down. So I'm not telling you guys to be completely off guard, but I am telling you, don't sweat it. But this does bring me back to what I was talking about prior, how Yang should focus on his Republican appeal a lot more. Actually, even more so, his ability to flip Trump voters. Again, whenever I'm out yanging people and I mention that Andrew Yang can flip Trump voters, it gets an incredibly positive reaction. People love hearing that. And I think Yang should focus on that. I guarantee you, if Tulsi Gabbard starts going around and saying, look, I can flip 20% of Trump voters, people are going to eat it up. And I just personally feel Yang should do the same. Keep hammering home of how he gets over 10% of Trump voters to flip. So to the people that's been messaging me, to the people that's been emailing me, that's my take on it. I don't think Yang has to worry too much. I do see Tulsi is starting to rise. I was on a podcast with Tom from Nerds from Yang, and even he looked at the data, and yes, Tulsi Gabbard has risen. But I think it's a clear effect of Hillary Clinton coming after her and making her essentially the underdog. And so people, in a reactive sort of way, are vying for Tulsi Gabbard. But whenever you have a quick rise like that, you have a quick fall. And since it wasn't a slow build up for Tulsi, like it's been for Yang, slowly building his coalition, I think Tulsi's gonna flatline again, unless she can do something that can help her keep the momentum that she has, and I don't know what that might be. So fear not, Yang Gang, fear not, Yangers. Andrew's gonna be just fine as far as the Tulsi Gabbard situation goes. Man, you guys are brutal. I remember for the longest time, you guys wanted to see a Tulsi Yang run. And now that she's starting to go up in the polls, you guys are like, off with her head! Kill her! Kill her! So yeah, you guys, you don't play. I see you, Yang Gang. But something else to note, if you looked at that poll, I think Bernie Sanders was 15% and Yang was 13%, which means he's crept up on Sanders as far as Trump voters who would flip for said candidate. Because Bernie was beating Yang as far as voters that supported Trump prior that would flip to them, and Yang has crept up. I think that is something to notice. And as Tulsi decreases as far as people that would flip towards her, it's going to be interesting to see if Yang can overtake Sanders. So if you are worried about Tulsi Gabbard creeping up on Yang, let me know in the comment section below. And if you think Yang should continue to hammer on his ability to flip Trump voters, let me know in the comment section below as well. And man, oh man, it's going to get ugly out there. Everybody and their mother is jumping in the Democratic race, and it's just getting muddled. And I'm not really for it. And then, I don't know if you saw the segment where Hillary Clinton was saying, so many people are asking me to run. Oh, I feel so pressured to run. Hillary, you listen to me. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is asking you to run. You stay where you at. Don't do it. So hopefully our man Yang can cut a swath through his opponents and get to the end of these primaries, because that is the hardest part for Yang. Once our man's in the general, he's gonna sweep easy. I put money on it. And you know, I gotta remind you guys, I am trying to raise $50,000 for Andrew Yang in this November. It is myself and 11 other channels trying to raise this money. Yang's Act Blue link is in the description below, and the top 2 channels that raise the most for Andrew Yang do get to have an exclusive interview with Andrew Yang himself. If I'm one of those channels, I'm going to take 6 questions from my subscribers. I'll do a poll or something along those lines, and I will ask those 6 questions to Yang. So Act Blue link is below. Please donate to Andrew Yang. He did hit that $1 million within a week, which means we are showing our man support. Let's keep it going. If you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you don't, let me know in the comment section why. I'm always down to talk about it. Also, I have a PayPal and a Venmo link in the description below. Please feel free to donate to the channel if you want to help it grow. Every little bit helps. Hopefully, I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Peace.
My girl.